Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
She sees things. She really does. Things that the rest of us don't see. And whenever we have her on, we never know what's going to happen. I take it from me. She connects and in weird ways. So yes, she is a psychic medium. She is Shannon Dee, and cousin Jen is here with us today. Welcome, ladies. How you doing?
Good. We're ready.
Things I don't even want to get into the connections that whenever we get on here that happen for me. But we've talked about this before, signs that our loved ones send us from the other side. I know you both believe, I firmly believe as well. Do we all get them, but we don't see them?
Shannon?
That's a tough question. I think that's more true than not. I think that we do. I think that so many people that have come to me, it's not unusual for me to say, you've been getting these signs and you haven't been seeing them. Or now that I'm telling you what the sign is, you're going to start seeing them. And we do hear back that they're seeing them. And it isn't just women. It isn't just a certain generational thing. This crosses against, it goes all generations, all ages, all economic groups. That I think that, yeah, a lot of people, I think if you're open to seeing it and you ask, yeah, you're going to see them. You're going to see them. And it's just whether or not you want to see them. And
I never did until I asked and until I opened my eyes. And I'm talking very specific, and I've mentioned some before, things I've gotten. But before I did that, I was oblivious, and they were probably signs were everywhere, but I didn't see them. And I'm not looking for them. I'm not reading into them. They're very, very, very specific. If it's a butterfly and that supports you, well, great. For me, I need more. I need concrete evidential evidence, I guess. And
yes.
When I get it,
you're a resident skeptic. You believe, but you still are skeptical about a lot of things that are out there, which is good. It's good to be skeptical because it has to resonate with you as a person. It can't, the generic things don't always work.
Yeah.
So when you think about it, and it has to resonate with you as a person. And I've found more and more there are people who are finding those signs, and it's just amazing. And on the other side, they are getting very specific with me. And I'll have a group of 8 people, and I'll look at one person and I'll say, do you see the same number over and over? And there'll be 7 other people that I won't ask that question to, but the other side tells me which one is getting the angel number. And then I'll reveal to them what that number means. And it's always amazing to me. And the number, and a lot of times families are adopting whole angel numbers because that number meant something to them as a family. And it's incredible. And Jen and I have had some insane group readings where angel numbers have come out. I had a mom come in late and her daughter had their angel number tattooed on her hand. And when I brought that number up within 5 minutes of her sitting down, it started the whole group reading. It was crazy. Wow. So yeah,
I feel I have to share the number thing today. So what just happened before so we're about to read somebody and we got her on the line here, and you are the only person that ever brought in my aunt. And you did it I didn't ask you, you said, I have somebody here, and it was spot on. A number of podcasts back, and you mentioned her house, and you were very specific. And I was even, oh yeah, all right, tell me this. And then you nailed it. So the person we're about to go to on the phone, the last 4 digits of her phone number is the address of my aunt's house. Like, you can't even make that stuff up. Deb, did you hear that?
I did.
Freaky. Like,
yeah.
When you said the numbers, I'm like, whoa, I'm getting like goosebumps right now. But maybe I'm even connected to Deb somehow, and I don't even know. But hello, Deb. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. All right. So we got Shannon here that's going to read you today.
Yeah. Do you mind if real quick I just tell you a story from my first conversation with her?
Please do.
Okay. My daughter passed away last year on August the 4th. And I immediately, within 3 weeks, got a hold of Shannon, and Shannon kept talking to me about a bracelet with beads on it, kept bringing it over and over and over again. And I couldn't remember for the life of me what she was talking about. And I went downstairs that night, and I went through all of my daughter's bins trying to find this beaded bracelet that I didn't remember. So I found this card, and I know this is a podcast, but it says, "You blank got this." Now, the word is effing, but, and I found the card, and then I remembered the bracelet. It was a black beaded bracelet from the first time she had went to rehab, and it said, it was Morse code. It was beads that said, "You effing got this" in Morse code. Emptied all the bins, couldn't find the bracelet. I was so upset. I started putting stuff back in the bins, pushing the bins aside, and I turned around, and there on the floor is the black beaded bracelet.
Wow.
I was floored. I was absolutely floored. The signs, ever since I've talked to, I think this is my, fourth time now with Shannon. Last week 2 weeks ago, I went to where my daughter worked when she lived with me at Turkey Hill. And I went in and I had $100, and I always buy lottery tickets. And I said, you know what? I'm not buying lottery tickets today. I'm going to keep the money. I go back out into my car, and the song, Celine Dion's "Because You Love Me" was on. And that was my daughter's song to me. I went back in, I spent the $100 in lottery tickets, and I won $1,100.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. So I wholeheartedly believe in Shannon. I love communicating with her. I need these messages. It's what keeps me going, honestly. I lost my husband. 2 months later, I lost my sister. And then a year later, I lost my daughter. In 17 months, I lost those 3 people. And all of those people have come through, and she was dead on every time.
Well, I'm sorry for your loss, but I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah.
And, we talk about a bracelet. I'm wearing 5 of them. That one has very distinct meaning, and that's, and Shannon connected to it.
Yep.
Wow.
Sure did.
When she shared with me what the bracelet said, it was amazing.
Talking at the same time. Shannon, go.
When Deb shared with me what the bracelet meant in Morse code with my military background, it really resonated. And I was so sure that it was in those bins. And to hear that she had just given up and steps back, and there it was right behind her, was just amazing. And I was glad that she had that.
Are you getting anything for her today?
I am. Her daughter had come to me earlier, and your sister is here with us now, and I've never brought your sister through before.
Yes, you did. The one time you did, yeah.
Did I? I don't recall that. Your sister, she's doing the height thing. Was she older than you?
Yes, 5 years.
Okay. She was doing that first. She is with your daughter, and your daughter showed me that earlier, because she kind of gave her that side hug, and they gave each other like a quick kiss and a hug. And your daughter said to me, she told me, she said, she gave me 2 thumbs up, and she said, "You're doing a better job than I ever could have." And that means something to you, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So I thought that would. And she really went on about that and said, "You're taking care of her more and raising her in a better job than I ever would have, no matter what state I was in. But I see it more clearly now. You were always right. You always knew the right answer, and you always knew the right things to say and how to handle things. And I was never as tough as you were. I never stuck to my guns the way that you do in life. If I had only done that, this situation would have never happened. Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely. Yeah, it does.
Your sister is saying, I don't want you to think that things aren't fixed. We've mended fences. And she's saying, kiddo, we're watching over you and we got your back every step of the way. So now you've got 3 of us that are watching over you. And she's waving her hand like, well, your husband, Bob, not so much him, because us girls can do better.
That would
So
be
she's
her.
got this acerbic sense of humor, but she's saying that her and your daughter have mended fences. Was there a rift between them at times?
Actually, there was an issue with me and my sister. So I'm wondering if that's where it's coming from.
Okay, so
But
she
yes,
keeps showing me a triangle.
my sister was angry with Samantha for what was going on, you know, for the 3 years before she passed, and the fact that I was raising her daughter. She was very angry with Samantha for that.
That makes total sense, because now she keeps making her fingers like a perfect triangle. And she said, every time you see a triangle with a heart in it, she's right there. She's right there with you. And she said, the 3 of you can do more together than you could when you were at odds with each other. Because she said, you need every point to make a perfect triangle. And if one part isn't there, then you don't have a triangle. And the love that's inside leaks out. So with all 3 of you and a heart in the middle, then you know that you're in perfect unison as you are today, and you always will be for every breath that you take on this earth and every breath that your granddaughter takes on this earth, long after any of you are gone. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to start seeing triangles and hearts together all the time.
And it's funny because my granddaughter puts her fingers together, well, from both hands, and makes a triangle at me sometimes, and that's freaking me out.
Well, now you know why, because she obviously has been visited in her dreams and just doesn't remember them or know why she makes that triangle. So every time she makes a triangle, tell her there's a lot of love inside that triangle coming from your mom and your aunt. And I'm the other point, and you're always covered by that triangle. So you always have to have that perfect triangle, because it holds all that love inside for you. So every time she does that to you, you tell her that right back. And that's coming from her mom and from her aunt, who love her dearly, and they're never far away from her. Your daughter is saying we're never further than a dog's leash away from her. We've always got a tether to her. So they're basically saying we're not further than an arm's reach away from her.
Good. And I feel that with Ava. I mean, her mother's name is mentioned every day, you know, and I talk to my sister's one daughter, you know, several times a week as well. So I stay in touch there as well.
She said that her daughter is doing very well in her life, and that good things will continue to happen to her, and that she says sometimes she does not feel her mom around her. And she said every time the wind blows, I'm blowing love in her face.
Well, I'll make sure I share that with her. Anything on her other daughter?
Is this the one with the darker hair?
Yep, the one that you mentioned, that she doesn't have darker hair, but you said in the past that her hair was going to be dark and something tragic was going to happen to her. And I don't know if she's let her hair grow in dark yet or not, but she is definitely on a very bad path, and I cannot help her.
Yes, this is the one that dyes her hair. So naturally it would be dark to her.
It would be darker, yes.
And I never see anything bad, but she was like an exception to me, that if she continued on the path that she was going to have something happen, not death or anything like that, but she was going to have something happen that's going to temporarily set her really far back.
It is happening right now.
Yeah.
I'm just afraid it's going to go deeper, unfortunately.
He will hit he will hit her bottom. I just when I was talking to you and starting to listen about her with dark hair, I actually drew the pendulum of a grandfather clock. And what that tells me is time is running short for her before she hits rock bottom. When she hits rock bottom, she will make the journey back. So she might lose her housing, her vehicle, all of that stuff.
That's already
Um,
happened. She's
she-
actually being considered a squatter right now because she was told to vacate and she hasn't. So she's already lost her. She doesn't have a car. She doesn't have a home, really. She's there, but
She lost her kids.
her kids are moved out, but her older daughter is just got her child taken from her. So the shit is just hitting the fan with her really bad.
Yeah, this is about when she's about to hit rock bottom, when her kids are totally taken away. I think I'm hearing at the end of November into the holiday season is going to be when she really realizes how bad off and how far she's come. I think she's going to have a couple false starts asking family for help. Everybody needs to tell her the same message. You need to, we'll get you to help, but you need to help yourself. You need to make that decision. They all need to give her the same message your sister's saying. And once everybody stands firm and nobody gives in, then after a couple false starts, she's going to make the decision and she will come back. And she will be ultimately, it'll be her choice. But if she works the program, she will be fine. But everyone has to stick together because there's a cousin or somebody in her life who tends to give in. They always feel sorry for her. They can't give in this time.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And that would probably be her sister because I don't think anybody else is going to help her.
Yeah, she needs to be told that they have to give her the same message. So they need to be able to get her to a place where she can be signed in for help. And she needs to stick to it. And she needs to be told, we're not going to help you. Somebody is going to pose an intervention type thing. The last thing you want to do is box her in with a bunch of family because she's going to take it the wrong way. She just needs to be told it when she individually reaches out to people. That you all love her. You'll do anything to get her to where she needs to be to get help, but you cannot give her money or anything else. The thing you can do is take her to the place where she can get help. That's what you're willing to do for her, but it isn't because you don't love her. It's because you love her so much. And her mom is right there. Mom is saying, did they have an above ground pool or access to a pool when they were kids?
Yeah.
Her mom is saying to remind her of how much fun they had when they were younger. Because I'm seeing a bunch of kids, 2 girls, maybe a boy, splashing around and it looks like neighborhood kids, some of the floaty things that you put your arms through and, it looks like a seahorse or whatever. It was pink. I think she had a turquoise bathing suit. And it had like little straps around her neck to hold it up. And they're all playing, splashing around, having a great time in the pool. The sister would probably have these photos they did it countless times. They used to get those little ice pops, those frozen ice pops.
Oh yeah.
And those little barrel drinks that came, they look like little barrels and they were juice and you could pull off the little cover and then drink them. Ask her sister more about them because she needs to be reminded of that memory. Her mom wants her to remember those good times that they had because that's the memory she wants her to hold on to. It can be just like that for you and your kids. you need to love yourself enough to get back to that. And her mom will make those memories happen for her and her kids.
Okay.
So if her daughter, if your niece can find those photos,
Yeah, she will. I
leave copies.
actually already texted her because you have read her before too and helped her tremendously.
Yeah, tell her to find those photos of them in the pool swimming and stuff and to jog her memory about those times. Everyone needs to tell her that's the memory she needs to remember because her mom wants to do that with her and her kids, and her grandkids, because she will have grandkids. She just needs to get herself in the right place. And if she's able to give her those photos, that's going to be her talisman. That's going to be her thing to hang on to. Because I asked your sister, did you give her a necklace or anything like that? And she said, no, but I can give you one better. I can give her a memory. And she said she'll remember this and she's going to love the pool memories. And she said, give her a photo of it and have everybody tell her, you need to get back to that. Hold on to this memory from your mom. And so she's going to start seeing things that remind her of those days swimming in the pool and the flavor ices and all those kind of little drinks and everything. And she's going to keep seeing it. And it doesn't matter what season it is. She's going to keep seeing it, whether it be at a store, on TV, wherever she is. Her mom is not going to let go of her. Her mom's got her firmly by the collar now. And she's going to help her get better, but she's got to choose to get better, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. It
All
does.
right. We're just about out of time. Deb, thank you for being here and allowing us to share a lot of this with everybody.
Sure. My pleasure. Actually, my pleasure. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Thanks again.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye, guys.
Wow.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Deb.
I have to ask you, Jen, we're just about out of time, but like, as a cousin, you experience this, you see these things, day in and day out. What comes to your mind about Shannon?
I just feel like every day she gets more amazing. I'm like flabbergasted over the granddaughter with the triangle. Like, you can't make that up. Like,
No.
we would have to be knocked over that with a baseball bat not to see these signs today. Even you, Steve, I know you didn't tell us everything on air, but I'm just amazed. I get more amazed every day by her. I feel like it gets easier every time she reads somebody. I feel like she's understanding the signs much easier and they come to her much easier.
And it's
It's like a
unintentional.
whole conversation now.
Yeah.
She brings the something with her when she shows up, i.e., the phone number of Deb, last 4 digits, is my aunt's address. I mean, there's a ton of bazillion combos of numbers. That's it. Like, and she's the one, and it's always been a running joke that she brought my aunt through.
Right.
And then consistently, a little piece here, a little piece there, and then again today, totally unintentional. Maybe I could have just missed that, but no, like that number resonates with me. I used to have my business in her building up until like 5 years ago. So
I feel like you were supposed to meet Shannon. Like, this is all for a reason. Like,
yeah, I hear you.
Crazy how much stuff has come for you. Yeah.
Your
Crazy.
aunt does not want to give up the spotlight. She's like, why give it up now? She's totally delighted by all this. She's like, why should I give it up now?
But I never
she
ask
enjoyed
her. I never ask her for a sign. Usually it's my mom. So maybe I need to, because she just, like today, throwing them out there, but she's doing it through you.
Yeah.
That's a deal.
Well, who else gives as much detail as Shannon?
No, that's the thing. Right.
So she's the best one.
All right. So Jen is her handler. How do we find her? How do we connect with Shannon if somebody's got questions, wants to do a reading?
On Instagram and Facebook, look up Shannon Dee Sees Things, and you can call or text me at 215-680-7693, and I will set up a reading for you.
Extension 1031. Just kidding. That's my number. That's my number for my aunt's house. Thank you for today, both of you, and be well, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll see you soon.
See you.
All right.
We are
Bye-bye.
coming right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.